Welcome to the Aviation Pros Podcast, the go-to platform for professionals in the aviation industry. Powered by AviationPros.com, the leading source for comprehensive news, insights, and data on airport operations. Whether you're focused on airport management, improvement programs, ground handling, equipment, MRO, or FBO operations, we've got you covered with the expertise and resources you need to stay ahead. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Aviation Pros Podcast. I'm Joe Petrie. As airports embrace next-generation technology like AI and automation, connectivity is more important than ever. Once just another service inside the terminal, this connection is now the backbone of operations everywhere. With the changes and challenges ahead, it means airport leaders have to build their networks to adapt to the future and address the needs of today. I recently got a chance to speak with Boingo's Vice President Engineering, Bill Marino, about how things like AI impact airport connectivity and what leaders need to think about today when tackling their Wi-Fi systems. Well, Bill, thank you very much for speaking with me today. Of course, AI is a very big topic. Wi-Fi is always a very big topic when it comes to our airport spaces as well. We live in a world now where these things are starting to converge and they're becoming one and the same. And so my first question for you today is, tell me about how the AI transformation, airport connectivity, and what new capabilities does it enable for operations in the passenger experience?
Yeah, of course. I think for airports, and even for us as a company here at Boingo, AI really means the ability to do more faster. And who doesn't love that when they travel, right? If you're there with kids, if you're there with a significant other, AI can hopefully make that a better experience just all the way around. I think there's a couple new use cases out in the marketplace that are really going to make the airports safer and probably more convenient for everybody. The biggest one, obviously, is passenger flow and just optimizing that entire experience, whether it's from checking in and checking your bags to getting through TSA, reducing the entire congestion and the movement process that kind of goes along with that, tracking things like security lines, check-in counters, boarding areas, and just optimizing the entire workflow from staffing to wait times. The next big pain point, I think, for me as a personal travel is baggage handling and tracking and making sure that I have kind of an IoT smart tracker on my phone so I can ensure where that baggage is if I have a connecting flight to make sure that my bag made it to the next transfer. And then, of course, we live in a world where security is top of mind for everybody. So threat detection, AI enhanced surveillance using, facial recognition and behavior analysis of how crowds are moving throughout these big infrastructure, I think is a really important part. Lastly, I would say probably smart energy optimization. So you walk into a bathroom and the lights flicks on. That's all AI driven at the end of the day. Energy consumption as a whole, optimizing HVAC, lighting, power usage, just goes along with our entire improved sustainability model that we're looking for.
Airports have been working on just deployment of connectivity over the last couple of decades and gotten things up to snuff as, technology has matured over time. AI is obviously a new layer that goes into it. What are some of the biggest challenges airports face when deploying AI-driven connectivity solutions, and how do they overcome those?
Yeah, I think like all of those AI use cases that I just kind of talked about, really you have to have that strong network backbone behind them. The rise of AI is really going to consume a lot of bandwidth. It's the intersection between the next gen 5G, 6G, 7, whatever it ends up being, and the Wi-Fi build-outs that we have. It's not a coincidence within the marketplace. The AI data needs and the bandwidth to pass from the edge onto the servers is really going to need a robust network to support that data movement efficiently. I've been at Boingo 12 years now, and Boingo's networks, the wireless networks that we build, have become so advanced that we've actually built in AI applications to ensure that they're smart, that we're ensuring that the seamless connectivity and really that data movement from edge to layer can support the enterprise as well as the end users. So at Boingo, we really view the Wi-Fi as a vital component to the airport infrastructure that we just can't forget about. We really need to move it to the forefront of our thought process when we're talking about driving the future successes of airports.
Now, you mentioned security before. when talking about this. How can AI-powered networks detect and mitigate cybersecurity threats in an airport environment?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one, and I think it's definitely evolving every single day. Every time I turn on the news, I think security is top of mind for everyone. And at Boingo, we're really trying to integrate advanced encryption. So when you open up your phone, you're automatically encrypted from end to end. And we also build on top of that AI-driven threat detection, federal grade security measures trusted by the DoD that are really protecting the integrity of what you're doing on that network. Because the last thing you want to do is open up a bank statement, checking your numbers, and really having to worry about how is that data transferring from side to side. That's not a good feeling. So Boingo Networks, we have a ton of AI models that are really detecting network anomalies, supporting that self-healing action to make sure that everything from end to end is encrypted at the end of the day.
So how is AI being used to optimize bandwidth allocation and reduce network congestion in high traffic airport environments?
So I think for AI, at the end of the day, we're really monitoring a list of KPIs that we're implementing into our self-healing and prescribing strategies with no human intervention. So when you look at a network of Boingo's scale at any of our airports, people are doing a multitude of data functions within our network at any given time. So think about uploading iCloud images, uploading, you get off an airplane and all of the pictures that you just took on your amazing vacation just immediately start syncing to the cloud. What we're doing behind the scenes is prioritizing probably the most important data functions, addressing bandwidth limitations in congested terminals, somebody that's boarding an airplane, and then immediately identifying all of that traffic that needs to get to the cloud, caching that immediately. So think about Apple updates or iOS updates on your Mac that instantly hit when you go from no connectivity on an airplane to connectivity. All of that stuff is hitting all at once. So we really have lanes of traffic within our network that are prioritized based off of the most important data needs to the airport's infrastructure and getting them in and out as fast as possible.
I want to switch gears just slightly here. Obviously, AI is a big issue or a new topic within airports and something that they're willing to take on. Another element that's also becoming online and mature in the airport market is automation. And then going back to security and operational efficiencies, I want to ask, from your perspective, what role does private 5G play in enhancing airport security automation and operational efficiency?
Yeah, so I think if you think about everything that we've talked about on the Wi-Fi side and we shift that to private 5G, it's really a game changer for the airports in delivering fast, reliable, and security connectivity. That kind of network is really able to handle the bandwidth-hungry IoT devices and on top of that, deal with the encrypted and the sensitive data operations that we're doing in our everyday life with simplicity and ease. It's a closed-off network. It's designed to power those hungry IoT devices. It's designed with the power of critical operations in mind on a congested public network. It just has low latency, lightning fast connections. Private 5G has the power just to kind of keep everything moving behind the scenes, where sometimes the Wi-Fi side may struggle.
Now, as we start to see things grow and modernize as far as the different types of technologies and just bringing things like automation online more and more, what kind of connectivity advancements are necessary to support emerging airport technologies like these? So when it comes to either, autonomous vehicles, robotics, or even smart baggage handling for that matter?
It's definitely the right question to ask. As connected devices have become such an everyday inconvenience for us, too often the critical network infrastructure that we need to support them is often overlooked. And what's the repercussions of that? We load up a website, we're left with a spinning loading wheel. We develop systems that lack the bandwidth reliability and the security necessary for those seamless, dependable operations that we're operating. We're just so used to that as people. We've become a society where we're used to just clicking a button and instant access. So sometimes I think we need to take a step back, and when we're looking at the future, we need to think about building the best network to support the future needs and not just what we're trying to do now. And, no one can really predict where AI is going to shape the future, but what we do know today is that the modern and capable network needed to power all of these future use cases is something that Boingo is willing to do and is building today.
So as far as these connectivity solutions that are available on the market, and sustainability obviously being one of the biggest challenges that airports have been facing with for the last recent years, and something that still remains top of mind for a lot of these larger hubs across the nation. What are some of the key considerations for making airport connectivity solutions more energy efficient and align with these sustainability goals?
Yeah, I think at Boingo, being a neutral host network is a great first step towards any airport sustainability goals. This model really prioritizes the shared infrastructure to improve wireless coverage and the capacity that we can provide, which intrinsically helps the sustainability and decarbonization operations of airports. At Boingo, we really try to bring together the carrier networks and introduce a world-class Wi-Fi network into one managed platform that shares the resources across all of those carriers. So what does that really do at the end of the day? That reduces the materials, the construction, the on-demand cost and efficiency operations is just intrinsic to really building towards that model. The key consideration, I think, to be aligned with how your partners and vendors are operating as a whole unit and not independently wasting resources along the way is something that Boingo really works with our customers to align on the environmental priorities that they have put in place when they're building a network.
My last question for you today, for some of these airports that might be looking into upgrading their connectivity or thinking about what steps they need to do as far as their airport improvement plans overall, what should they be keeping in mind when you look at the technology of connectivity in 2025 and where it's going to be going to make sure that they're prepared for the next generation of technology?
I think really the answer is staying close to a company like us. I think Boingo is really at the forefront of making sure that all of the standards are really put in place. We work with an organization called the WBA, the Wireless Broadband Alliance, and we're so integrated with a lot of the carriers worldwide, not just really US focused, to try to understand the global needs of Wi-Fi and the demand of where we're going as a world unit and not just an individual airport, and making sure that we're all aligned on standards, technology practices, use cases that we've talked about here today, and making sure that we're all moving forward in the same direction and not as individual units.
Well, Bill, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate learning more about connectivity and AI and how it's going to affect our airports in the future. And I can't wait to see some of the progress and challenges that are going to be undertaken and overcome in the next couple of years.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to the Aviation Pros podcast. Stay ahead in airport operations and leadership by subscribing to our Airport Business Daily Newsletter, your go-to source for the latest industry insights. And don't forget to explore even more at AviationPros.com, the home of exclusive content for aviation professionals like you. I'm Joe Petrie. We'll catch you next time.